Hey crew, so I have had a lot of people comment on a few builds that I have done saying that the Stasis Hunter nerf to Renewal grasp was rough and what exotic should they be using now since the nerf. Well, the gameplay you are watching is the Fallen Saber Grandmaster, and I don't know about you guys, but this is looking like not much of a nerf to me. Look at how much damage we take and survive, and we are just jumping into enemies and into the thick of things in this Grandmaster, and we don't even care. So I'm here to tell you that if you set up your build right with Renewal grasps, they are still the best in slot for a Stasis Hunter, and you definitely could be using them. Now there are a couple fragments that really help this build flow so much smoother, so let's go over the subclass and make sure to use what I use because it makes the regen of your dust field so much better, and as you can see, we have it up all the time. But before that, we have a sponsor on today's video. This video is sponsored by Mecharina, and man, let me tell you that this shooter game is a blast to play. It is a 5v5 mech shooter, and it's very fun and casual and has some of the best graphics out there, which make it so great to look at. It runs and looks great on almost any device, and man, the mechs and weapons and even the maps just look so clean and different from each other, and it's all multiplayer, so anyone can join up and play together. One of my favorite pilots is Faye. Now I know, she doesn't look like all that, right? But she is a child prodigy and her true passion is AI research, and she does it with the best of them. Just look at all the different abilities she brings to the table, and the barrage of missiles she fires at the enemy mechs is truly devastating, and that's why she is one of my personal favorite pilots. With so many different pilots to choose from, this adds a whole new depth of strategy and gameplay variety to the game, which is just awesome. You can also customize your pilot's skills so that you can truly make them your own to fit whatever playstyle and personality that you are going for. You can also have this customization with certain weapons and different mechs, and you all know how I like customization and build crafting when it comes to playing the games that I play. Mecharina's got a ton happening this month, including Battle Pass Season 6, where you can get your hands on some amazing new skins and a bunch of other goodies. And if that's not enough, there's a ton of special events happening where you can get your hands on amazing weapons, skins, and even new pilots. It's completely free to play on Android and iOS right now, and you can use my personal link or scan my QR code to get bonuses worth $45. We are talking about 1 mil-spec skin, 500 A coins, and 70,000 credits to help kickstart your game. You can find me in-game by my name Plunder. The link is down in the description and the pinned comment. Make sure to click on it, come over, and I know you guys will enjoy this game. Now for your class ability, make sure you have Gambler's Dodge. When you dodge near an enemy, we're going to get a melee charge back, and our melee is of course Withering Blade. This is the shurikens, they're super strong, and this is very important to the build because it adds to the regen of our grenade. For the grenade, make sure you're using Dust Field Grenade. It's all about Dust Field, it's all about making these huge dust fields, and we're going to slow everything, freeze anything, and take less damage in that dust field. For the aspects, we're using Touch of Winter. What this does for our Dust Field Grenade is it increases the slow field size and creates a small stasis crystal on impact. Very important. Then we also have Grim Harvest. Defeating a slowed or frozen combatant creates stasis shards. These shards grant melee energy when picked up by you and your allies. So now we're already getting melee energy 2 different ways, by Gambler's Dodge and by Grim Harvest. Now for the fragments. Whisper of Shards. Shattering a stasis crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate. Shattering additional stasis crystals increases the duration of this benefit. This is one way we're going to get our grenade back super fast. This is based on your grenade cooldown as well, so make sure you try to get to 100 discipline if you can. The gameplay you're watching, I was at 90 discipline in this Grandmaster. So Whisper of Shards is your first fragment you want to have on. The second one that's really important is Whisper of Refraction. Defeating a slowed or frozen targets grants you class ability energy. So now every time that we throw that dust field and we're defeating targets within the dust field because they're slowed or frozen while they're in that dust field, we're getting a ton of class ability energy back, which just lets us loop back into Gambler's Dodge, which is dodging your enemies, and getting the shurikens back, and we're getting those shurikens back by dodging near the enemies, and by Grim Harvest, defeating slowed or frozen combatants. Grants us melee energy. So, we're getting melee energy by defeating slowed and frozen combatants, and we're getting dodge, right? Our class ability energy by defeating slowed or frozen combatants. So very important. Whisper of Chains here. While you're near frozen targets or a friendly stasis crystal, you take reduced damage. This just adds another resist on top of all the other resists we're taking. This thing's like 40% damage reduction when you're near a stasis crystal, so super important as well, or a frozen target. Remember that. There's always a frozen target on the field when you're running this build. We have Whisper of Durance. Slow from your abilities lasts longer. For those abilities that linger, their duration will also increase. This makes our dust field last another 6 seconds longer out on the field, which is awesome. And then for the last slot, I have Whisper of Conduction. Nearby stasis shards track to your position because I don't want to go pick them up. I also get plus 10 resilience and a plus 10 intellect out of this. This could be swapped for something else if you so choose. Now for weapons in your primary, secondary, or heavy, run whatever the heck you guys want. I was running the Deliverance Fusion Rifle and also a rocket launcher in my heavy. So run whatever you guys want. That's really not important here because the only thing that your weapon is doing is breaking the crystal for you. That's it as far as the build goes. So that's what I really like about this build is weapons. You guys can choose what you want. Now for the exotic, we're using Renewal Grasps. Now for this exotic, the perk here is your dust field grenades have a much larger effect radius. Allies inside the dust field take reduced damage, and targets inside the area deal reduced damage. So the nerf to this that happened a few weeks back that some people were talking to me about were that just the grenade recharge rate on the dust field is much longer. I believe it's the glacier grenade cooldown now. So it's a much longer grenade cooldown time instead of what it initially was, but that's fine. We're working around that. So from the subclass, right, we have Whisper of Shards that's getting us that grenade recharge rate. And then we also have high discipline on our character, so 90 or 100 discipline if you can hit it. And then on Renewal Grass with that perk that we're taking advantage of, right, that's just damage reduction. So we have to find ways to get that grenade back as fast as possible. And that's where all these mods come into play. Starting off with our helmet here, we have Elemental Shards. Stasis Shards count as Stasis Elemental Wells for you. So those shards that we're creating by defeating slowed or frozen combatant counts as a well. The reason we're doing this is because we're going to use that to become Charged with Light. So on my class item, I had Elemental Charge. Become Charged with Light by picking up an Elemental Well. If the Elemental Well matches your subclass charge, you get ×2 stack. So we're always going to have a ×2 stack because every time we pick up that crystal, that's counting as an Elemental Well for us. There's Stasis Crystals, we're on a Stasis subclass, so we're getting Charged with Light ×2. How we're spending that Charged with Light is with Firepower. On my gauntlets, on my chest piece, and my boots, I had Firepower. Firepower is a solar mod. While you're charged with light, regain a portion of your grenade energy when you use your grenade, consuming 1 stack of charged with light. So now every time we throw a grenade, we're getting a little bit above half of that grenade back instantly, okay? So we throw the grenade, we get over half of it back instantly. On top of that, when we throw that grenade, we shatter the crystal for Whisper of Shards. Shattering the Stasis Crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate. So now we're getting that boosting grenade energy, which is very fast. Okay, and then on my gauntlets, I have Impact Induction. This is kind of important for this build. I tried it without this, and I really like it with it. Like, I think it makes a big difference. Causing damage with a melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown. So now every time we throw that shuriken, which we have 2 shurikens, and it bounces off enemies, we're getting a nice chunk of our grenade back every time. So you could throw your grenade, okay, shatter the crystal, so now you're getting the regen from Firepower and the regen from shattering the crystal. Then you throw a shuriken, you're getting regen from the shuriken bouncing off enemies. And then on my class item, I have Double Bomber in the gameplay you're watching. Reduce grenade cooldown when using your class ability. You can have only one of these if you want. It doesn't make that much of a difference, but it's just a little extra with double. And then I would dodge near an enemy and instantly grenade. So there's this nice little combo or rhythm you can get into that you throw the grenade, shatter the crystal, throw your shuriken, dodge. You should be able to throw your grenade again. That's kind of the gameplay loop. You always want to be keeping that in the back of your mind. But with this build, even if you don't shatter the crystal, you can still get it back yourself without shattering your crystal, which I think is awesome because your teammates might shatter a crystal sometimes. So you throw that grenade. If you don't shoot the crystal, you still throw your shurikens, you still dodge, and you still do your continuous loop, and you should be getting that grenade back every time that you need the grenade, which I think is really cool. If you guys have any questions or concerns, leave them down in the comments. I'll try to answer them for you. I'm sorry I've been away for quite a while. I was gone for a week on a vacation doing some fly fishing out on a river, which was absolutely awesome, and I needed the nice break. And then hopefully the new season comes in the next 2 weeks or so, right? It's supposed to be launching, and we'll be getting that new 3.0 class. Hopefully it's solar because I just really like solar, and I think there's going to be some amazing builds with it, especially with the exotics that fit it. If it ends up being Arc, then we'll just deal with Arc. But I hope to see you guys all in the next video. I hope this helped you guys out, and have a great rest of your day.